Hey, welcome into the Quick E podcast. What are we talking about?
I see what you did there.
What?
I see what you did there.
Did you? Did you see that?
Yeah.
I'm Jay. That's Keith.
That was good.
PartsCounterGurus.com again, guys, and we're having fun with these little short, quick podcasts to talk about a specific topic. Keith, what are we talking about today, man?
Well, you and I watched the FordMachE reveal, the press conference yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Which they're branding it as a Mustang. It is an all electric.
Right.
They're calling it I think I heard them call it a sport utility vehicle. Did I?
Yes, you did.
Is that true?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Which, before we get into this, I'm going to take issue with that because a sport utility vehicle is the original Bronco, is the original Toyota 4Runner, maybe the current generation of the 4Runner as well.
The K5
K5
Blazer. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
right?
That's my definition.
Original Jeep, Jeeps don't even really fall into that unless it's one of the off-road Jeeps now that has the kind of camper shell on the back.
Yeah, I think you would even just consider a Jeep just a utility vehicle.
Yeah, it's a Jeep.
It's a Jeep.
Yeah, right.
It is what it is.
Vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, it was built for the war, So
this thing looks like sort of in terms of sort of the class of car. It looks like kind of like the Tesla Model X. So it's a Mustang station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by all appearances, but just and look, man, I'm not dogging the car. Just please stop calling these things SUVs. You can't take them off road. They're not four wheel drives. You can. I will give you the utility part of that, but I'm not giving up sport.
No.
It's not a sport.
No. I agree with that. I mean, basically, a wagon, station wagon, the old family truckster.
Yeah.
There you go. So. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you watch this thing. I watched this thing. We've just exchanged a few comments about it. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that Ford hit it out of the park with this thing. I think that they achieved exactly what they were trying to achieve. They carried on the name. And again, I mentioned this to you previously that, this is a Lee Iacocca dream. I mean, Mustang, in his vision way back there were some prototype four-door Mustangs. There were some prototype wagon Mustangs. So this is, for Mustang enthusiasts, surely the history of it. So it shouldn't come as no surprise that this was kind of a direction that Ford was going to go with this thing. However, what I'm surprised about is I didn't know anything about it, that they were going to be releasing this thing. We were at SEMA. We didn't hear any talk about it. They were very hush-hush about this thing.
Yeah, so this is the difference between how Ford has chosen to handle their press and how General Motors has chosen. Okay, so the Corvette C8 release, which we were all over, which if you haven't seen that, go check out our website at PartsCounterGuru.com or on our YouTube channel. There's a couple videos on it. But we had a heads up, pretty far in advance.
Yeah.
How far?
A few months. We had a few months in advance.
GM said, hey, we've got a release date. They put it on their website. They announced they were going to do a streaming thing.
A ton of chatter about that vehicle release, yes.
Ford comes in, and to my knowledge, it was like 48 hours-ish that they gave the press and said, hey, guys, tune in Sunday night.
Right. And it's going
to be awesome.
We've talked about this on previous podcasts. We were just doing a little research on what was coming down the pike, and I think I even said to you that, be on the lookout for this Mach-E. This is going to be a reality at some point, but how long do we have to wait? We didn't know. We had no idea.
I think this is really going to be Ford's year. Let's just say their model year, because we're almost to the end of the calendar year. But, they got this thing coming out, and I think they're going to do something similar here in a couple weeks with the Bronco, where they're going to drop that on everybody.
Yeah.
And they're going to kind of run with this. This is a popular topic right now. Everybody's searching on it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I'm going to say, really the first of the big three to go all in on a mainstream electric vehicle. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think that they are definitely, when you have to compete with Tesla, this is how you have to do it. I mean, you're going to have to compete with what Tesla has out there, their product, how reliable it is, how appealing it is to a specific demographic and market. Ford had to really step back and think about this, and they did it. And if you're a Mustang enthusiast, which I am as well, I love Mustangs. I love everything about them. There are some iconic things on this version, taillights and front end and headlight, and we talked about the ponies even on it. The badge is on the front end of the vehicle, so you definitely know that it is a part of the Mustang family.
Well, now, it's interesting to me, and I had this thought before we recorded this today, and I was literally standing in my kitchen, and I was thinking, okay, so remember this when you went and you did the Waterfront Corvette Festival, and I said to you, and I don't think we did this on camera, but I said, I've got this theory, like a lot of these traditional Corvette owners, like the old guys, right? Like I made fun of them a couple different podcasts where I showed up like in the Hawaiian shirt with the chains and recently divorced and all that, right? Like stereotypical Corvette owner.
Yeah.
Okay. And GM said, wait a second, we're just sort of going in a different direction. We're going to try to appeal to a different demographic. So it's almost like Ford has said, okay, we've got a muscle car. It's been our flagship muscle car since the 60s. And everybody's starting to go electric, and we kind of gotta, what are we gonna do? We just gonna keep doing the traditional Mustang front engine, 5-liter until it's completely dead?
Right.
So it's kind of adapt or die, right? So they had a choice to make here, which is to sort of shift their appeal. Maybe these muscle car enthusiasts, like your typical Mustang buyer, may not love it.
Right.
But you know what? Like, my wife watched it and she went, I really like that car. That's a good looking car.
My wife said the same thing. It's funny. And already, my wife has no interest in the Teslas. But then all of a sudden, this good looking little bulky, sporty looking Mustang thing comes out. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, that's on our radar now.
So Ken Block was on they had a little segment with Ken Block, the Hoonigan guy, right? Was it just me, or when you watch this and they let him drive, were you sitting there secretly just going, break it loose, break it loose, break it loose, break it loose, right?
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for, I wonder if he's going to have a future, piece with this. And just to, there's got
car, I guarantee you the car will do it if you can turn traction control off.
Look, they're already saying it's in the mid threes, right? 3.5
0 to 60.
Yeah.
Yep.
3.5 seconds. That's pretty darn fast, guys. That's no slouch.
So here's a quote from my kid who I watched this with, because he knows cars, probably in many cases better than I do.
Me as well.
And he's watching that segment where they bring in the crew and they put their names all up. It's all, kind of celebrity car drivers. And he's like, that's 5 people. How can they all fit in there? Because he's thinking, I've seen the backseat of a Mustang.
Right.
And you could tell it was a little, but they got 5 adults in this Mach-E.
Yes, they did. And that's the whole idea behind this thing is they're calling it a sport utility vehicle, which I want to go with crossover. But that's what you expect out of a vehicle like that, is to have that ability to put extra people in the back end. It's not your typical Mustang, folks. And I know that it's upset a lot of people out there in the Mustang world. I saw a couple of comments. I had put some stuff out on our Facebook page for those of you following us. And if you would, please go to facebook.com/parts counter gurus, and you can check out all of our posts and releases and stuff. But there was a comment made that it was an embarrassing, bloated release, and it's kind of like the worst thing that ever happened to the Mustang family.
Well, to a traditional Mustang enthusiast, I can certainly see that. But maybe they don't care. Maybe Ford doesn't care about you anymore.
I don't think Ford is marketing to you. They are looking to gain more share in the industry, and if Ford is going to do that, they have to put out an awesome, reliable product, and I think they did it with this, man. And see, now remember what we said too about the Corvette. Remember the Corvette now. We talked in the beginning that their whole idea with the mid-engine and then swinging into an all-electric version, that's coming. That's coming.
Could be, and if it happens, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a couple specifics of this car. Now, here's a quote from old me, okay? So old me up until yesterday, and when this thing came out,
right?
I would watch commercials with my family. You and I would talk about this, and I'd be like, wow, Hyundai's advertising Bluetooth. Look at that whole car commercial is nothing but Hyundai telling you how great their integration with your phone is. Or look, GM's doing their whole like Apple CarPlay. And look, man, they're not even showing you under the hood in that commercial. And I have always said to people, you don't buy a car for technology.
Right.
Until now.
That's right.
This is the first time in history that I can ever say it's okay to buy a car solely based on technology, because that car has no engine. It's all electric. It's a motor. It is nothing but tech.
That's right.
Right?
It's all battery and motors, man. That's it. And everything about that, the cockpit, everything about it is technologically advanced. It's cutting edge technology, and you kind of got to look back on some of the other topics that we brought up way back on some of our previous podcasts about the investment that Ford made into Rivian. They invested $9 billion into this company, and now you're starting to see the technology work for Ford. I believe that's how they were able to quickly get to where they got to.
Probably. And I know they're working on I don't know what generation it is, but it's their next generation of their Ford Sync integration. So did you catch all the mentions of AI during this presser? One of the things that they... Okay. So one of the things that... two things jumped out to me that were a little creepy. They said... this AI learns that you call your wife every day on your drive home, and so it's just going to bring her phone number up on the screen for you when you get in your car after work.
Yeah, very similar to like what you see now on your iPhone or something like that. It tells you.
Look.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Look, man, we've all seen Terminator. We know how this ends. You guys have got to stop that stuff. But yeah, right? Here was the other thing that kind of freaked me out. Now, this could be a good thing, but again, I'm a little bit on the no thanks side. Let me see if I can get this right. They talked about smart home charging, and that the car would learn that if you have free charging at your workplace, it would not fully charge the vehicle at home. They said it would give you just enough charging at home to get you to work the next day, and then it would freeload essentially off the work charging system.
Right, but let's talk about, there's two things you get there. The freeload, first of all. The free charging, basically, right, that you're going to get from work, but also from a battery cycling standpoint to extend the life of the battery too. Don't you think that might have some advantages, or is the technology of batteries so far advanced now that whole cycle, fully discharge, fully charge?
Here's the part of the show where I'm just going to start making stuff up.
Go nerd on me, brother.
This is what I know. Now I have a little bit of knowledge on the whole battery technology. I'm certainly not an automotive battery expert, but if they're using lithium-ion batteries, those batteries are designed to not have the memory effect that the typical rechargeable batteries like a nickel metal would or a lead acid or something like that.
Right.
But it is good to fully cycle those batteries, meaning you take it from full to empty at least once every 30 days. Now, that's typically how we handle lithium-ion cells, like in your phone, in your laptop, in your tablet. That's considered good practice. Go read the manuals from any of those manufacturers, and they'll tell you to do that once a month. Okay? Car, same cells, you would think so, but I'm not. That's a good point. I'm not positive.
Well, let's make it a point to look into that. And maybe mention that on a future podcast. We'll bring it into the next podcast or something to that effect. But I think it's very important that we we understand that technology and how that works these days. But because that's let's face it, what are the maintenance issues you're going to have on a vehicle, an all electric vehicle? You're going to have brakes and tires and batteries. Those are like the big three, right? I mean, the rest of the stuff is just minor, really. I mean, electrical stuff, which. That's
Flux capacitor. Yeah.
Flux capacitor. Yeah. You got it.
All right. So other than Bill Ford looking super nervous this whole, which I don't know, maybe he just needs to stop the public speaking. And you had already mentioned this 0 to 60 in the mid 3 second time, which is something they kept throwing out, which is really great.
Yeah.
Looked like it had a glass roof.
Yes,
so they kind of borrowed that from Tesla.
Had a panel roof, but that's quite common on a lot of vehicles. Let's see. Well, they have 7 different colors. I think they were going to be offering to this thing. I mean, they're not going light in the option department at all.
Right.
They're certainly catering to those people that want to personalize their vehicle. The price point. Let's speak price point.
Okay, so they did not talk about price that I heard during this press conference. Mm-hmm. But as soon as the conference was over, and I was like, wait a second, how did we skip that? So I decided to turn to a person that I consider an electric vehicle expert, right? This is definitely somebody that's done way more EV research than I have.
Right.
And I wanted to get his opinion on this. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, let's take a look.
Okay.
Hey guys, so I'm here with our resident electric vehicle expert. He's right here. And he's done probably more research on electric vehicles than I ever will. We just finished watching the Ford MustangMachE press release. They did not mention the price, but our crack reporter here has info. What's the pricing info on these?
The lowest amount,
so entry level.
Base price on the lowest edition.
Is?
It's $43,895.
And this is really interesting. That one is not available until 2021. The first edition, how much does it start at?
$59,900.
Special edition vehicle available late
2020.
Limited quantity. And then the premium
is actually less money
because it's not a first edition. Okay, what else we got? Keep going.
What's this one? Premium is $50,600.
All right, what's this one over here? The GT.
There's also a California.
We don't care.
Okay.
We don't care about that. The GT is $60,500, available spring 2021, so it's a later release also. Okay. So there you have it. That is the pricing information that Ford did not give us, that our research assistant was able to uncover within minutes of the end of the program. Okay, so a couple things that I took away from that conversation, and I appreciate him kind of pulling that up. He had it up before I even asked, but
yeah, great job.
The one that you can get the earliest, which is going to be about a year away, it's going to be next fall, is about $60,000 US dollars.
The first edition, correct.
The lower priced one, you're going to have to wait like a year and a half to 2 years to get, and that's going to be in the high 40s. Is that right?
I'm looking now. So the Select is $43,895.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay.
And then your Premium, which was the next one up,
it was
right, $50,600.
So that's
obviously the GT is the highest, obviously.
Well, yeah, but that's a year and a half away. They made this announcement pretty early on.
They did. I mean, you can go online right now and order.
Yeah, but you're going to be waiting for...
Yeah, I think that they did the right thing, though, because, I mean, you want to make sure you've got interest in it. I think the reveal, it's close to Christmas.
$500 is the rumored deposit amount, so not tremendous.
Yeah, not a bad deal. Well, I think it was $2,500 for the new Corvette. C8 was $2,500. Right. I think.
Now I cannot wait. You know what's coming. Somebody's going to go put one of these things up against the current generation Corvette, and they're gonna do it. I would love for us to do it, but that day will come soon. But yeah, that's coming.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I like the GT, and I can't wait for it to become available. Because I would definitely give that one a hard look. That's a great looking ride. and everything about the package on it I was reading. It's just pretty darn cool, man.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
So closing thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot of closing thoughts. First of all, I'd like to say sorry to all of you gasoline version Mustang loyalists. I get it, but they're not targeting you. They're not going after you. They're still going to make your Mustang, your traditional Mustang. That's still going to be available to you. But this is something that Ford has decided to do. I'm happy for them. They seem to be hitting a lot of the balls out of the park lately with some of their marketing, how they're going about their business and with upcoming vehicles, and then just a lot of the changes that they've made and the investments they've made. So it'll be interesting to see how long this wave lasts with Ford. So I'm excited for them, and I do definitely think that Tesla now has a really a valid competitor in this market, the EV market. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, it's just this whole electric thing's just a flash in the pan, right? I mean,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So that kind of brings us to a close on the MachE conversation here, as we call it, a quickie. I just want to remind everybody quickly that if you found this enjoyable, please ring the bell to be notified when we release another one. We do a podcast. As well as lots of these type videos. Leave us a comment if there's anything that you want to see. We'll be glad to take a look at that. Hit the subscribe button would be a big help to us. What's the saying there, Jay?
Those subscriptions are free to you, but they are priceless to us, folks.
See, I would have messed that up. And yeah, so we hope this quickie was as good for you as it was for us. Until next time.
Oh, baby.
That is Jay over there. I'm Keith, and we'll see you soon.
Later.